Welcome to the While My Batteries Charge podcast. Join us as we talk about all things radio controlled. And now, your host,
Folks, this man, he is the king.
Mr. CCxRC himself, Tony CC.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to the While My Batteries Charge podcast. It's December. Holy cow. I can't believe how quickly this year has gone by. It seems like it's been flying. So we're going to be taking a look today at all of the new stuff that's been coming out. We're just talking about it and talking through some of it and what it means for us in the hobby. But man, there's been a couple of really good ones. Well, there's been at least one really good one, I will say. But there's been some decent releases and decent stuff coming out. And the CCxRC being the one that is most notable to me and probably the most fun release, I think, so far that I've seen this year for what we do. And so I'm pretty excited about it. There's still time. There's new stuff coming still, so that could change, but I'm just really stoked about the CCxRC and kind of the hopes that it even gives me maybe for another SCX24 that might be something they could do and take some of the leanings of what they've done in the SCX30 and put it toward that. But I don't know that any of that's happening. I'm just saying there's hope. Man, a lot going on. We'll be talking about that. Ascent 32, the Ascend Ford Ranger, kind of going back to the Ascent 18 Apex, just kind of because that's kind of a game changer this year as well for 18 scale, in my opinion. We'll talk a little bit about the second race that I hosted for the West Michigan RC Monster Truck Racing. A little bit on the Black Friday sales. Were they as good as years past? What are your thoughts on that? And what are my thoughts on that? And what I ended up getting. And then we'll talk about the FCX24M briefly. I still have a video to do on that. And the Spec B and Microbe, those were just kind of dropped since the last podcast. I realized that some of these things already dropped in the one previously, even though it's been over a month since we've done it. But that's because the SCX30 was announced so early. We'd done it before NERSA. The last one was kind of a Pro Line by the Fire recap. So, man, it's like a lot has happened, but also I'm still thinking of all of that stuff that happened and want to talk about all of it now, even though we've already kind of talked about some of it. So it'll be kind of tricky to navigate through all of that. So here we go. Without further ado, I'm going to get into it. And we'll talk about some of the stuff. Well, Spectrum, you can see the flashing sign up here. Spectrum has been awesome, and they've been good to me, and I got a few of their batteries, so we're going to go ahead and say that this one is brought to you by Spectrum while my batteries charge. But they sent me this here, which I thought was pretty cool. It's their GNSS wireless GPS speed meter. If you guys are looking to judge the speeds on your RC cars, they've got one. Pretty awesome. There's an app that keeps all track of it. You've seen it before. This one's easy to just get your hands on in hobby shops, whatnot, from Spectrum, the GNSS GPS. I can't remember. It works very much like the SkyRC one, like app and everything. So I'm guessing that there's like OEM or something like that is going to be my guess, but it gives you G-force, speed, time, distance, height, vertical velocity of your RC, all this kind of stuff. And they've got iOS and Android apps. So pretty sweet. We got to get this in one and run. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of snow on the ground, so I haven't been able to use it. But yeah, they got a new radio, the Spectrum Rugged Plus, and a lot of their Plus series was just dropped and announced, and it can do more channels and all this kind of stuff. And I got one of the Plus ones, and one of the cool things about it is that it is dual protocol. I mean, that's the main upgrade to me about the new Rugged and the new systems, is that dual protocol capability that allows you to bind it to some of the other cars that they have that have the more inexpensive receivers or 2-in-1 units that a lot of them are coming with now as they try to keep costs down and also pack more into smaller spaces and all this kind of stuff. It allows you to, without having to buy another receiver, bind it up to your nice radio that you're storing all your models in. So that's a big win that they finally did that. But it works with the SCX30, and so I can pair my car or my SCX30 to my Rugged now, which is awesome for one-handed driving. Although the radios that come with the SCX30s are pretty awesome, I think. So as whenever they came out with that radio, I don't even have one up here to know the name of it. That newer style that lays down. Oh, I thought I might have one there. I really dig those. Comfort wise, feature wise, just everything. It just kind of it works. It's bare bones, but works great. But you can change up now to the Rugged or the other Plus series ones that are dual protocol, which is pretty stinking sweet. All right, so let's talk about the SCX30 since I'm mentioning it. Is it? I'd have to go back through. I mean, I'm going to stick my foot out there, stick my head out there, and say it's probably my favorite release of the year. But that saying, it's been a long year, and I don't remember all of the releases that have happened so far this year. So, what do you guys think? You have to let me know what your thoughts are. Is the SCX30 your favorite release of the year? I have so much use for it, so much potential for it, and that's even with it being bone stock. It doesn't need a ton of upgrades. I've got mine. It's actually sitting up on my desk behind me here. I just put a Furatech system in it. It's their Nano Moto. I was working with them, and so they sent me one, even though I don't think it needs one. It's kind of one of those like it's a nice upgrade. It really is a good upgrade. And is it necessary? No. It's smoother, but it could be, how much smoother. The stock motor is pretty decent. It's pretty smooth. The main thing is it's kind of whiny. So if that really bothers you and you kind of just want, you want to add that little, extra trim molding that you do in your house, the room is fine. But some people want to spice it up and they just want to put that nice little finishing touches on. If that's you, it's a pretty sweet system. Mainly the radio is really great too. It's a smaller radio. It gives you more features on the radio itself. Gets rid of the whine, and it is smoother. And if you want to run it on 3S, it gives you even more speed. But it's not necessary. That's the thing. Like, I think other than maybe trying to find like maybe something brass to put down low, by the wheels, not even in the wheels, because the motor is good as it is. But I feel like if you add more weight to it, they wouldn't be good. That they're having to spin and rotate, and same with the servos. If we could find a way to add the weight a little lower without having to put it as a rotating mass, it might be awesome. That might be all it needs. That's just because it's a hard body, but also you can just drive at scale, and it does that out of the box. It's really, really, really good. So let's just see here. I've got a few things. We'll just, as we're talking about this, we'll talk through a few things on the YouTube page here. So we'll look at the shorts. I've had some fun ones with it. That's what I've really enjoyed with it. We did one at the Chick-fil-A drive-through. We did like an unboxing throwing into a rock. We've run it over the latte machine and the Christmas decorations. And while I was waiting for the family, I was driving it around on my dashboard, all that kind of stuff. It's just, you can just, if you have it with you, you can find a place to use it, and it's awesome. And you just move stuff around and start making things like the latte machine. I'm like, man, I could crawl up that. That was all that sparked that. And then it's like, well, we should, if we're going to do that, let's make a latte as we do it. So that we have it like making it into the cup. But the idea was already there just because I saw it and I'm like, that looks like fun. Let's see if we can get on and off of that thing. And it totally did. So, yeah, today we did one out in the snow. Basically, I just walked a path through the snow to give it these cool walls up around it with snow. Just having fun. And, man, I think that's the one thing, like, I'm thinking about more ways to have fun with it than I am to upgrade it. Like, what could I just do with this to have some fun? Like, I've got a little bit of time. I let's go out and run this thing, or let's do it in the house. I was on my phone. I've got here. I've just got so much footage of it that I haven't even posted yet because I'm like, people are getting tired of this. I'm sure of it. They've got to be getting tired of it. But yeah, just last night, all this footage here. I mean, just driving it on my indoor course in the evening. So, I mean, there's 20 minutes of run footage on here or something. It's crazy. Just have a couple batteries and just go for it. So yeah, I would say it's probably one of my favorites for the year, if not the favorite RC. I think that they knocked it out of the park on the price. The features that it has for the price are amazing, and the capability of it. It's a great runner. So let's get the big one out of the way. So there we go. Ascent 32. So let's talk about that right after it. The Ascent 32 is not smaller, first of all, than the CCx30, even though the name would imply it. The Ascent 32's axles are almost as wide as the 24 scale axles. And unlike their Ascent 18 and their Ascent 1/10 scale, which kind of were like very compy trail trucks, like they were very, very good for being what they were and for the price they were, the 10th scales, they were so good. And then the 18th scales has, I think, revolutionized the 18th scale market, in my opinion. Was not interested in 18th scale, anything that came out. For a minute, the TRX4M interested me. Working on it, I quickly learned I don't like working on it. I don't like the axle setups. I don't like the transmission. I don't prefer that as a platform. So just never really developed into anything where like I'm gonna try and do anything with this. So comes along the first Ascent 18. And out of the box, it's the best mini crawler as far as out of the box of any of them. Speed, capabilities, features, had portals. It just drove well. Oil-filled shocks. Yeah, it was just a really, really good runner. And then they came out with the 18 Apex, and that thing set a whole new bar and new level for 18 scale. And all that, in my opinion, needs is a little bit of weight in the wheels, and potentially tires change, but you don't have to. But just adding some weight in the wheels is a huge game changer for that truck and keeping it down and not wanting to tip over backwards, climbing up stuff where it'd want to unload and push back. But having the weight just wanted to keep the wheels down a little more. That's all it took. So just game changing. The Ascent 32, it's more toy-like, which it has the same Ascent name, but it is not a starting point. Like the thing with the other ones where they gave you it in a way that was better than the rest out of the box. It's like everybody has to shoot for this now. Where this was like not that. But they announced a whole bunch of upgrades available for it right away when it came out, where that wasn't necessarily needed for the other Ascents. Like you got them because they did so good out of the box. And so they kind of veered away from that with this. The price is really low on it. It's like $70, $79. But it's like that extra $20 to the SCX30. To get to the capability of the SCX30, you're going to have to spend more than the $20 difference between them. It's not as smooth. It's a lot more jumpy. It just kind of bounces around a lot more. Doesn't feel and look scale when you're driving it. It's just more clunky. And to get rid of that is a lot of work, where the SCX30 kind of out of the box is just like they have it pretty dialed. So that's just my thoughts on the Ascent 32. I know some people are doing some crazy stuff with it. One of the guys up here, Dave, owns one of the crawler shops up here, Crawler Space. He went nuts with his. But what's crazy is he actually changed out stuff to the SCX24 parts in order to get it to do it. Like he put the SCX24 axles under it because it's pretty much the same width anyway. That way he could do a different servo because the servo also is wonky on the Ascent 32. And so changing it becomes problematic. There's not a lot of options. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough sell given the two side by side. Unless somebody comes up with some really crazy mods and they start doing something insane with the 32s. It's gonna be a tough sell compared to the 30, at least in the price points where they're at currently. But like I said, there are a lot of upgrades and people get creative, and it might be the perfect scale for the size that they want for some 25th scale model they have or whatever. And yeah. All right, send Ford Ranger MSRT RC. So that one we have a video on as well on here, and it's an interesting one. It's kind of like a truck that nobody expected, or I would even say, or kind of wanted. I wouldn't say I even see a lot of Ford Rangers driving around on the roads full scale right now. And then this is like a European version of it. I think what worked so well for this platform for Sen before was that they were the big trucks that guys actually used to pull stuff, and they're making trailers and they're making work trucks out of them, and they're doing off-roady type stuff with a real on-road style truck, which is what we do with our real ones. People don't buy these ones to do a whole lot with. They don't buy these to tow trailers with. They don't buy Ford Rangers to do a lot with. So other than just on-road driving it, there's not a lot to do with this truck. So we'll see. Some people are going to lower them. They're going to slam them. They're going to make them into drift kind of style trucks or things like that, probably more, and actually put it more on a speed setup than what it currently is. But yeah, so it's kind of one of those interesting. It looks good. But then when it looks that good, it's like when they do it or Kyosho does it, they drive body posts through it. It makes everybody cringe. I don't care. I mean, I'm not in it for that at all with my RCs, so it doesn't bother me, but it bothers so many people that would be the buyer for this car because of this type of style that it is about the body. It's all about the look of this truck. So to have those sticking out is kind of like, oh, bummer. Now, the ones that they did for KG1 Forged and Fury and them that they had at SEMA, those were awesome with the liveries and stuff on them. Super cool. I do like this blue. I think it's a really sharp truck. But if it's not one that you're going to tow with, you'd probably choose one of the other ones that has more tow. You know, people would have rather had a Dodge or a Chevy or something else with the dually still, or just the larger scale, even if it's a two-wheel, but make it an F250. But don't lift it, don't do whatever, just make it a standard truck like this is. This is your standard truck series. But you went for the Ranger that most of these guys, it's not the truck that they would choose for like their toy, which is what these are, and your dream truck. And there's not a lot of guys, I don't think, out here running the RCs and stuff that actually have the one-to-one Ford Ranger that they're super stoked to be able to buy this of their truck. Not nearly as many as an F-150 or an F-250 or any of that series. So like taking their lifted series and just making it a regular F-150, F-250 would have, I think, made a little more sense. But going with a European styling that we don't ever see here in the U.S., these may sell well in other parts of the world, but I don't see it super well in our market, would be my thoughts. Um, what else has happened? I slept on, let's just say this. We'll come into a couple things that I'm working on here. Snowmobile project. Travis has been over recently, and we've been working on the ski ride twos. He's got two of them of his own built, and he's helping me with my build. I've got it all printed for the most part. We keep finding parts that I missed in the files. There's a ton of stuff to print to make these. In fact, mine's sitting right here on my CCxRC mats. What's awesome about these mats too is when I'm doing other videos, I can be working on my table here, and then I'll just grab my CCxRC mat and take it off here if I need to make a video. And I don't have to like take it all off one at a time and put it somewhere else. I just set them on the floor here, and then when I need to go back and keep working on it, I pick it up, I put it back on the table, and I keep working. So it's very handy for getting my stuff moved around with those CCxRC mats. So the ski ride, those are coming along. I'd love to have it right now because we have so much snow. We got here personally at my house, we got dumped on. Locally, there was like 8 inches, but we got more in the 10 to 14 on our property. It was crazy. So Sunday was, I woke up and got the tractor out and started moving snow, and it was, I plowed through it, and I'm like, holy crap, this is deep. What I thought was going to be just push, a little bit of snow and get stuff out of the way for church turned into an hour of plowing because the snow pusher, I could only push so much before the weight of it became too much. So I had to keep, it was a lot of work to move it all. Plus then I dropped my son off so he could play piano. I came back to get my family because the roads weren't great. And so we are going to take my truck. Well, I saw some ladies a couple doors down that were stuck trying to get out of a driveway and slid off and kind of into the yard, and it was a mess. So I ended up going and helping them. So, yeah, it was an interesting, we've had a lot of snow, and so it'd be fun to have the snowmobile done, but I hear we might have quite a bit of options and time this winter to do it. So I've already taken out, I'm diverting my talk here at this point to talk about snow. I've already taken out a couple things into the snow. Where is the snow stuff? I gotta find the video link here. I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, the Kyosho. So I've been doing a lot more with shorts across all, just because I need to get some stuff out while I'm working on a few bigger projects, and the longer videos for releases and different things. But I still need to get some videos out. So I've been doing quite a bit with reels. But yeah, we just took out the Trail King, the Kyosho one on tracks, and had a blast with that yesterday. I had my JBRC's custom airboat out, and I destroyed the whole back 3D printed part of it. My bad. So I'm buying another back end for that so I can get it back out. But I do have some good footage. I mean, I was out there for 10, 15 minutes before I did that. And I actually didn't even crash it. I saw that some glue had popped loose on one of the parts at the bottom that it was holding the whole cage on, and I thought it'd be fine, and it wasn't. So at some point it bounced enough or shifted enough that it caught it caught the fan, the blades, and just blew it up. So I should have stopped. I should have melted the snow off it, let it, I brought it in, just set it in the shower. I should have done that. Should have let it dry. Should have re-glued that piece in, and I'd have been fine. It's my own fault. So I'm ordering another one of those from him so I can get that up and running for more snow fun, because it was sick. Like when you see it running in the snow, it looks awesome. So I can't wait to share that footage. I'm kind of trying to break some of it up so I'm not overwhelming everybody with like constant posting of reels and whatnot. So, but anyway, yeah, have a couple snow videos. I have that one that's here with the little snow guy on it, and then try to turn off the audio. I may as do it here. But yeah, I'm just gonna show a little bit of it so you can see kind of the feel for it if you're watching the podcast. Uh, it's basically a tracked vehicle, and it's kind of plowing through snow and just seeing it, the flakes come off the tracks in the sunlight is really awesome. So you can check it out on Instagram or on YouTube. But did that, and then I did the one I was talking about earlier with the CCxRC driving through kind of the snow. I mean, these tall banks. I'm basically just stepping, and again, it's all about showing the scale of this thing and the size of it. I showed it driving through this snow makes it look huge, and then you see me kind of making the course by just stepping it out. It's pretty fun. But we've been getting plenty of snow here, and that's even after it's melted. It kind of insulates itself and slowly melts as it sits there. But yeah, and it got warm yesterday. We had, as the day went on, it did a pretty good little melt. The warmer weather in the afternoon. So got all that stuff going, and I was gonna go before that with the snowmobile. I was talking about my projects. One of the things that I was a total sleeper on, you guys, was the Red Cat MT18. And I don't know if we talked about it in here on a podcast or if it was only on the Talk Your Face Off with Pablo. But the Red Cat MT18, I was asleep. That was, I think, one of the best Black Friday deals that I saw that I wanted. They had them for $130. So pretty good deal on it. 40 to 50 bucks off depending on your local shops. And it's just a fun truck for indoor running or small space. Right now with the snow here on the ground, I could go. One of the things that I've been doing is just running on my porch. We have a pretty big front porch, and or if it was raining, I could just be up there and running and have space, because I end up, if I have spaces in houses, I end up filling it with stuff for making videos and doing projects and all kinds of stuff. And so I don't end up, even though it's a big space and I could run them up here, I've tore it all up with stuff, and I can't run them up here. So I run them on the porch because my wife doesn't let me make a mess of the porch. So, and they're awesome for that. If you had a basement to run them in, they're perfect for that. And so I really am hoping that in the new year, in the winter, while it's snowing and crummy outside, that we'll start racing some of these, maybe even racing. I did some testing, racing the LMT minis at 50% indoors as well. That gives us a much smaller space we can work within, the 20 to 30 foot, 20 by 30 foot kind of an area. And we can do it pretty well and keep the racing fun and competitive without being too much and too fast. And yeah. So anyway, we're doing some tests on all that kind of stuff, and I think it would be super fun. So monster truck wise, speaking of that, we had our second race. It was for November 1st. So we had one on October 4th and one November 1st. Videos still to come on that. In fact, I think I just posted the Pro Mod Freestyle from the last race so that I would be ready to now. I didn't want to post anything for the new race till I finished the last one of that. And that was the last one was the Pro Mod Freestyle that I have to do. So I did a teaser because I was not home for Thanksgiving, but I brought stuff to work on. And I didn't have the hard drive that had all of the name templates and all that on there. I wanted to be able to just copy and paste it from another project. So I ended up doing the pumpkin smash video of us smashing the pumpkins instead of the racing, because I could do that without needing the left and right, red and blue kind of race lane kind of thing that I have for our series. So anyway, that'll be coming here. We got to get working on that here early in December and try and get that knocked out. I got a couple more. There's a couple more new product stuff coming out here still for December, which is awesome. But that's going to have a little bit of my time taken up trying to get all of that stuff done and out the door. Which again, why I'm trying to do some of these reels. And once I can get on the other side of that stuff, we're going to start knocking out the races, and then hopefully planning for our race series for 2026, trying to see if we can find any sponsors and different things like that to get involved. Had somebody reach out to me recently actually about that. 2 people now actually. So I need to start thinking about that and being proactive about looking for sponsors for it, so we can have some stuff for our end of year um, kind of finale. But have some prize packages that we can give away along with some trophies and stuff. Um, I'm trying to look here, see what else I have on my list of things. There were 2 new micro buggies. So the small has seemed to be the name of the game kind of recently. I don't know if it's economy wise what it is, but the small stuff seems to be selling well as well. Um, and again, I don't know if it's because people want to have more of them or they just like the small size or their money goes further that way. I don't know, but there's been a really big influx of the smaller size stuff. We had Hobby Plus drop their Spec B micro buggy. And then like a week later, we had HPI drop the Maverick Microbe. Microbe. It's not a Micro B, but it looks like it, man. If you're not if you're not good at your English, instead of saying microbe, you'd say microbe or microbe. So yeah, it's very clever. So the 2 of them share a lot of the same parts, a little bit different chassis layout. Well, not even layout, but shape, which means that some of the holes change for mounting up front, some of the things. But for the most part, you're looking at a lot of the same parts for arms, wheels, tires, shocks, transmission, that kind of thing are very, very similar. ESC, one's labeled Hobby Wing, one's labeled HPI. I think is how that worked. I can't remember exactly, but they're very similar. Both of them are very good and they're fun to run. So it depends on what kind of space you have, whether or not you want to go micro or you want to go larger. So it's one of those tough calls. What do we want to talk about next? FCX24M Toyota Tacoma. All right. I have not had an FCX24M. The FCX24s weren't my favorite because they were more like 18th scale. And so they were larger. Some people could get them to work well. I didn't feel like putting the time or effort into the modification of them. Excuse me. To do that. With the portals and different things is just, it's a little bit more work. 2-speed transmissions, that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to stay with simple and this, we were doing 24 scale, knew them, very easy to work on, not a lot of moving parts. But it just requires a little bit more time, finesse, whatever, to really get them working decent. Basically, especially with the hard bodies, you'd have to either remove that or do Lexan bodies or change out stuff. And there were just so many other options already for 24 scales. Kind of was most of my stuff that is more impressive or handles really good is in the 24 scale, because that's where there were so many options. And then again, that said, all of that changed with the Ascent 18 and their Lexan body. Really great runner out of the box. Didn't want to tip over as easy. Wasn't as like bouncy from the spring shocks, friction shocks, because it had oil filled. So, I'd never had their FCX24M, which is actually more like an actual 24 scale. And then I got one of the Toyota Tacomas, and it's pretty dang good out of the box. Hard body. Looks fantastic. That's the thing about all the FCX is the bodies look good. And they just, I don't know, they look like a great looking truck. And they choose ones that are, that are iconic. So, and then they went with this Toyota Tacoma. It looks really good. It performs really good. I would say it performs better than an FCX24 out of the box. Steering servos, The tires are the right size. It's a hard body and it still doesn't tip over as easy. I think a lot of it, having the right size tires is a big deal, and that helps a ton. The SCX24s, the tires are too big that they put on them. I feel like some of the ones that they've done with the Proline wheels, they're better, and they've done the Proline shocks. The SCX24 got a little better. There's still some work they need to do to those things for the V2, and then they'll really be like the one to contend with. They kind of created the game, and it's like now it's like getting long in the tooth, and it's time for more than just like lipstick upgrades. It's time for, you can still keep certain things, but you should do a bigger motor. Everybody's got a bigger motor that's smoother, servo that doesn't crap out so easily, and can take a few upgrades. The transmission in them's decent already. I mean, that might not even need to be upgraded. I mean, the fact that it would work with other things right away that people have would actually be a good thing. So if they left the amount of that the same and some of that aspect the same, the axles definitely could use more steering. I don't mind the worm gears. I think that they should look at what other companies have been doing, lean toward that with the double jointed drive shafts, get more steering. So the couple things that you should want people to keep with your trucks or your stock trucks are your transmission and your axles. If you can get them to either keep those or keep versions of them where they can use all your internals, but they just want to put brass cases on them or they want to put aluminum cases on them. But if they're using your internals, then that's still like, all right, this is meat and potatoes. This is still an axial. And so I think that those are the things that they need to look at. So the axles for sure. So people keep that. The transmission is good, but if you want to put a little angled skin on it, like you're doing with the SCX30s, it'd be pretty rad if you found a way to do it, or even make it so that you're bringing your drive shafts out higher so that it'll give more clearance for people doing the high clearance links. You could think of some things like that. That would not be super expensive, but I think the stock one isn't terrible either. If they left that as one of the nods to, I mean, because so many people still take that and they'll put it into other trucks. It just works. It's a pretty bulletproof transmission. The worm gears work. So easy to work on, easy to overdrive. You don't ever have the gears on that brake. They're really, really tough. You have drag brake built into them. There's a lot of wins for me for worm gear in a truck that small. So just because of how thick they're able to make the parts and the gears on it versus having a more traditional size. What else do we got? Black Friday sales. All right. So yeah. So back to the FCX24. Let me wrap that up. Not being about axial. I kind of hijacked that. Because I was saying that the F624M is better than the axial SCX24, in my opinion, in a lot of ways out of the box. Although it has two speeds, I feel like the first speed, the low gear, is nice and low, but it just lacks that little bit of, it needs a little bit more punch on it to get up things without going, because it's almost uncontrollable in the second gear. That's just if you're driving straight on the ground. So for actual crawling with it, a little lackluster in the crawling gear. It just needs a little more, which is easy enough to just do a different motor or whatever. But yeah, I would have probably done two different versions of crawling gears, a higher speed one, but still is a crawling gear, and then a low speed. But they're looking towards kids that just want to go faster along the trail and keep up with their dad, and switch it when they get onto stuff they have to crawl on and have control. The problem is when you're going up a hill and you have to have wheel speed and control. It doesn't have that. Too much speed. All right. But it's a solid truck. Really, really decent, I think, out of the box, and can only get better. And it's at a good price. So they have a good base for you to start from and build from. All right. Last thing, Black Friday sales. Here it is. We're looking toward Christmas sales. It is Cyber Monday right now. We just got off of Thanksgiving week. Lots of sales over the weekend. And I feel like it wasn't as big a sales. And maybe there's something weird too. I felt like an old man. I'm an old man. I mean, so I should. I'm 46 now, going to be 47 in about a month. So a month and 2 days. So guys, start thinking about birthday presents for me here. But I couldn't figure out the Black Friday sales on A-Main this year. I got to it, and it was, the big thing was this big thing about 10% off for Black Friday. I'm like, that's it? It's just a 10% off sale? Like, other people just did like Hobby Day and they did 30% off your order, or 25. Like, there were some big ones recently, and this is Black Friday. Where's the big where's the big savings? And they had small little links of things that you could use, but they weren't like big picture things. There wasn't like Holiday Center and get it. Just I was old manned by it. It was like the VCR remote for my dad. Looking at their site, like, I don't know where to find your sales to even talk about your sales and show people what you've got. I want to tell people the sales you're getting. You know, I have affiliate links I can use, and if I think it's a good sale, I'll post it as whatever and say, this is one I would get. This is a great deal. Just help people find them. I couldn't find them on it on A-Main. I did not like their holiday center this year that they had. I don't even, let me see if they even still have it back, if they have it up still. I could not, for the life of me, work it. And then I finally went on my phone. Yeah, so this is it. It's kind of like it was. They had this like big thing here. It was like 10% off, and you could use it for everything in your cart. And then there was this thing to some Kyosho old school thing that was a crazy sale on the side. I'm like, that's your sale? Is that or this 10% off? And then there was these things. There was like Hobby Wing, Gen Ace, like brand specific things. All of these brand things. Oh, okay. So this is Shop Extended Black. So these are all extended to these brands, but I'm like, I just want to look at the cars. Like, where are all the cars? Well, here's little tabs for them, I guess. I don't know. I was missing it. It's there, and I was struggling. I was really struggling with their site. I'm not going to lie. Some of the other ones just had big graphics, and they had things that would change on this big banner, and it would change for you. But yeah, now they've got some other 12 days of deals. Like, even that, if they had something like that got in there and took me to the page where all the deals were, I would have liked that. But for whatever reason, these little things weren't sticking out to me. And maybe everybody else was fine, but I struggled to find it. And when I did, there wasn't anything that I was really super interested in that were in crazy sales like this Team Associated. These are the same sales basically as Black Friday on some of these. A lot of old school stuff, all this like Kyoshos and Yokomos and yeah, interesting stuff. But I was getting so shop all brands, but these just seem like normal stuff. These aren't. And then there's another sales stuff, I guess, down here. If you want to shop in these brands, Furitech had some crazy sales. 1RC did as well on their race cars, and so I did find those, but I found them more generically than that. I wasn't even through that. Anyway, could have been me. Now it doesn't seem that bad when I'm looking at it. But when I was looking for them, the deals that day, I was not finding them as easy as I was on other sites. And so I ended up just ordering a Cloudbuster that was on a crazy sale for their black and red one, the matte black one, or the black edition and it comes with the red parts. It was on sale. So that's what I ended up with. It's like $220. So one, you can't find them a lot of places. And then Pablo ended up finding this, and it was during a live stream, and I decided to get one. Like that was the sale I went for this year. So, because we were trying to find these sales to talk about some of the sales that were going on, and we were struggling to find stuff, and we found that one, and I ended up going with that. And so, yeah, it's almost like overwhelming because they're sailing everything that it's hard to find stuff that you actually want that is on sale. So again, it could just be me getting old. So my Black Friday sale thing that I got wasn't on Friday, and it wasn't one of the sales for it on a normal site I'd order from. It was like Hobby Zone or something. It was Clodbuster. So anyway, it's been a crazy month between the new releases, Black Friday hitting. So you're getting one awesome sales on some stuff that's been out, but then you're also getting this new stuff. And I think so. Maybe that was the thing that kind of made me not even think too much or care too much about the Black Friday sales. Was everybody was just wanting to get their SCX30s. That's what, and that was like, if I were telling people to buy something for Christmas, that's what I would have been saying. Like, just get an SCX30, man. But they're sold out unless you can go get it in shops. And so I just kept saying, go to your local shops, call your local shops if you want one, see if they've got it. And yeah, so that's, I think the hot item for me for Christmas is that. And then I was looking at some of the other sales. There was a couple good ones at Horizon. They had that big laser nut. That's a decent deal. But again, nothing like some of them they had last year. Last year, there were some nutso ones with like the fire teams and what was that other one? The Hammer Ray. Some of those sales, holy cow. They seem to be huge. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for us for the podcast today. I'm going to try and get another one of these out. I've got stuff I'm working on, all kinds of stuff. Projects going on. I have the T-Pro to work on, the titanium. So that's one of them I'm going to be working on alongside of doing this one. I got to do a video on the wheel built truck, which in my first comp with it. I mean, I should do a whole just show on that. That thing's amazing, by the way. Will, awesome job. I know I've talked about it and given him props for it in a lot of videos so far, but it needs a really big dedicated one to it because took it to the first comp and it was a tough-ish course, especially in a few spots, and it did really well. I thought I won when I left because nobody else was getting decent scores, and it got a decent score. And then Brandon came through and like got even half of what I got. I think I got a 12 and he got like a 6. But most of them were 20s and higher. And I think I say that, and Milo ended up with like a 16 too. So, but they were, it was tough. It was a tough course. And it just, having never comped it, just done some stuff around here with it, never driven at Jeff's, and it was a dream to drive. It was so good. I can't wait to comp it again in a couple days. So, yeah, that's it. I think we're going to wrap it up here, you guys, and just say thank you. 100,000 subscribers. We're going to leave it with that. I didn't mention it, but we hit that on YouTube. They contacted me today about getting a silver play button. So that is coming, and it's exciting times. So thank you guys.